with me now to discuss is legal analyst Terri Austin. Terri, good morning. Great to have you with us. So jury selection starts today. What are each side looking for in a juror?
Oh, definitely. I think they want jurors, especially on the defense side, who can understand that accidents do happen and it doesn't mean that there is criminal negligence behind it. So perhaps jurors who have been in similar situations and jurors who, on the defense side, haven't been subject to any sort of prosecutorial misconduct. And so I definitely think the defense is looking for jurors who are going to be sympathetic to Alec Baldwin and understand that these things do happen. I think on the other side, the prosecution is looking for someone who has the law behind them, someone who understands that even if it's an accident, these things have to be prosecuted. These things have to be put to trial because you want to make sure that people are responsible for what happens, particularly on a movie set. So I definitely think they're looking for two different type of people, and everyone is looking for a juror who can set aside anything they may have already heard about the trial.
And that is what I wanted to ask you about next. Does it help or hurt that pretty much every single person they're going to screen has heard of the actor?
Well, that's exactly right. They've heard of Alec Baldwin, and probably many of them have already seen the trial against Hannah Gutierrez-Reed. So I think it's going to be particularly difficult in this jurisdiction to find someone who hasn't heard about the trial. But that's not the requirement. The requirement is that even if you have heard about the trial, you can still be unbiased. You can look at the evidence and you can follow the law. So both sides are going to try to find jurors who, despite their previous bias, might be able to listen to that evidence and make their decision just on what they saw in that courtroom.
If Baldwin is convicted, what happens to him?
Well, he could get a sentence of up to 18 months. This is a fourth-degree felony in New Mexico. He could also get fined $5,000. We know already that Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is in jail for 18 months, frankly, and he could get the same. I think it will be difficult for the judge not to sentence him to something similar, because just because he is obviously Alec Baldwin doesn't mean that he should get anything less. But I think there's a good chance, frankly, that he may not get a conviction here.
That he may not, even with Helena Hutchins' conviction?
I do think there's a good chance, even with Helena Hutchins' conviction, that he may not get the conviction. And here's why. The evidence that's going in really so far has worked to his favor. One of the things that the judge ruled yesterday was they're not going to be able to put in evidence that he was a producer. That means that he's not responsible for what happens on that set, for safety overall. I think that's a really good ruling for him. He also is not going to be able to be convicted as far as propensity evidence is concerned. The judge said the video showing him cursing and yelling and telling people what to do, that's not coming in. So I think he's had several favorable rulings, and I think those rulings will help him as far as the case against him as an actor. And was he responsible for that gun? And we already know that Hannah Gutierrez-Reed has been convicted. Dave Halls he's the assistant director, he took a plea deal. So I think there's a good chance he could get off.
Terri Austin, we'll wait and see. Thanks again for your time and analysis.